Hola, buenas tardes y bienvenidos a todos. Welcome back to the channel. Glad you're here. You could have been on YouTube watching anything. You could have been watching one guy who's the luckiest guy on earth. Or you could have been watching one guy whose luck clearly just run out.
No, you're not fucked up. No, no.
Anyway, I'm glad you're back. I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite stocks, Tattoed Chef. Sure you heard of it. Just going to be talking about whether I'll be selling, buying more, or just holding out. So stay tuned, roll the credits, let's get to work. Before we jump into Tattoed Chef, I'd just like to remind you guys, if you're looking for a mortgage or a remortgage or any kind of mortgage service, check out the good people at Mortigo. My girlfriend used them and she managed to get her house revalued. They got a much better price and she saved a substantial amount of her monthly repayment. So again, Mortigo, check them out. But yeah, let's get into Tattoed Chef, one of my favorite stocks. I am about a third or a quarter of the way of building out my full position in them. I'm gonna decide a bit later. It depends what price they get to, because me personally, once they hit over 25, I don't think I'll be buying anymore. So it all depends how much I can get before then. And if it does go higher, I'll wait on a dip before adding any more positions. As you can see, a year to the date, we're looking at, they kind of fluctuate around the same price point. Highest of $28 back in January. Lowest is $16.09. Oh, so there is quite a bit of a difference. But I'm happy paying personally up to $25. Anything higher than that, I'll wait on a pullback. But who are Tattoed Chef? Tattoed Chef is a leading plant-based food company offering a broad portfolio of innovative plant-based food products that taste great and are substantially sourced. Tattoed Chef signature products include ready-to-go cook bowls, zucchini spirals, riced cauliflower, acai, and smoothie bowls, and cauliflower pizza crust, which are available in the frozen food sections of leading national retail stores across the United States. Understanding consumer lifestyle and food trends and a commitment to innovation allows Tattoed Chef to continuously introduce new products. Tattoed Chef provides great tasting, approachable, and innovative products not only to the growing group of consumers who seek to adopt a plant-based lifestyle, but to any of the people who give a crop. Nice. I like Tattoed Chef because I am a, don't know what you call me really, part-time vegan maybe. I hardly eat meat, not because I'm a tree hugger or anything like that. It's just meat and dairy products as I get older don't really get on with me. I've stopped consuming dairy years ago and meat's going the same way. So I like to see, you know, these alternatives. And zucchini, for anyone wondering here in the UK what the hell that is, we call it a courgette. So that's what a zucchini is. What I like about Tattoed Chef also is I'm not personally one for ready meals. I like to cook my meals from scratch, but it's good to know, as someone who doesn't really eat meat, if you did want a ready meal, something quick, that there are good vegan alternatives. But yeah, I don't really make ready meals, but you know, I understand a lot of people do, so I'm glad there's something they can buy. Right, standardly what I do when I'm researching a stock and I go onto their website, I like to go to their investor relations page and see some numbers. Here we've got the financial highlights for the fourth quarter of 2020 compared to the fourth quarter of 2019. Revenue was 39.6 million, a 48% increase compared to 26.8 million in the prior year period. Tattooed Chef branded products revenue was a record 23.9 million, an increase of 172% compared to the 8.8 million in the prior year period. So we can see from that they're moving in the right direction. So hopefully, 2021, they'll make even more money. And here we can see the financial highlights for full year 2020 compared to full year 2019. Revenue was 148.5 million, a 75% increase compared to 84.9 million in the prior year. Tattooed Chef branded product revenue was a record 84.6 million, a 363% increase compared to 18.3 million in the prior year. That's amazing. And this is throughout a pandemic when you can imagine they must have had problem with logistics and like everything else, they wouldn't have been immune to the problems. So to still be pushing forward during these crazy times, it's a good sign going forward. Now things are opening up and they're getting into more stores. Adjusted EBITDA was 9.6 million or 6% of revenue compared to 6.9 million or 8% of revenue in the prior year. EBITDA is something that's used instead of net income, I believe. We'll double check that. Again, like I've suggested in previous videos, if you do find any stock lingo while doing your due diligence that you don't understand, go to Investopedia, slap it in there, and guaranteed you'll find an answer. EBITDA, or earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, is a measure of a company's overall financial performance and is used as an alternative to net income in some circumstances. EBITDA, however, can be misleading because it strips out the cost of capital investments like property, plant, and equipment. So, something new to learn there. Right, so let's go straight to where I spend a lot of my time researching, and that's Yahoo Finance. And as you can see here, Tattooed Chef don't pay a dividend at the moment. It's far too early for that. But a lot of companies in the same space as them do pay a dividend. So I wouldn't be surprised in a few years if they do start to pay a dividend. Another reason why I plan to go long term with them. If I could fill my position out now before there's any talk of a dividend, which will no doubt cause a spike in the price, I've already got my position established and can just kick back. And this could then seriously be a long-term investment going forward. Right, now let's go to one tab I always like to have a look in, and that's holders. Let's see who actually owns Tattooed Chef. It does say 47.34% of shares are held by all insiders. That could be a good or a bad thing. I like to see the good as in, if your management have got a lot of shares in the company, it's in their interest for the company to perform well because they're obviously going to want their shares to do well. It's just not good when those managers who do have 47% of the shares decide they want to sell them, which could drastically affect the share price. We'll get into that. I believe there is an article about someone big selling a lot of their shares. Also, 11.77% of shares are held by institutions, which is good. And the number of institutions holding those shares is 84. Let's see from this list of top institutional holders who's holding them. Falcon Edge Capital, they own the most, but names I am familiar with, because to be honest, I don't know Falcon Edge, I probably should. But Vanguard Group, I've got some ETFs through them. BlackRock, who are the biggest fund and asset managers in the world, they both own shares. Oh, and Goldman Sachs. I've got an account with Goldman Sachs as well, so that's good. But Vanguard, they have 1,529 shares. Oh, and don't forget the 248. With a whopping value of 29,713,288. So yeah, it's good to see Vanguard have got that kind of faith in Tattooed Chef. And these are the top mutual fund holders. It's good to see that they're in quite a few ETFs and funds and whatnot. I do like to see that in stocks that I will be holding for a long time. Right, next I like to go to the financials tab, see what's going in, going out and whatnot. On their income statement, you can see for 2020, they took in or made revenue of 148,492,000. And what I like to do is cross-reference that figure back with the website to see if that number does make sense. And yes, it's right here. Maybe you could let me know in the comments, because I don't know who actually puts these figures on Yahoo Finance. Is it, the company themselves or what? Because sometimes I do notice a difference in figures between the company and what's on Yahoo Finance. So if someone in the comments could let me know, I would be very appreciative. Right, with income statements and balance sheets, again, you can do as little or as lot as you want to do when it comes to due diligence. If you're not familiar with them, a lot of the terms you're going to see aren't going to make any sense, but don't be afraid. Go into Investopedia, like I said, and just learn what certain things mean. But just to keep things very, very basic, the two things that I just always want to see is the total current assets. And I just want to make sure they're always more than the total liabilities. And the years going forward, that the liabilities are getting smaller and the assets are getting bigger. Same with the debt. I want to know that it's no problem a company having debt. They manage their debt and purposely keep it there. I always wonder, why don't they just pay off all their debt when they've got the money? But there's strategic reasons for that. But as long as I can see that debt's being managed, the long-term debt is getting smaller and what's coming in is getting bigger. As long as I'm seeing those things, I am happy, more or less. But yeah, I know there's a lot more to look into than that. Right, I did find a good article on Motley Fool about Tattoed Chef, because Tattoed Chef has been affected by the correction. The stock hasn't broke out yet. It's not taken off like I thought it, which I'm glad, because it gives me time to fill my position. But on 15th of April 2021, the CEO sold 1.3 million shares. It is important to note that after the transaction, the CEO still holds over 30 million shares. See, this bothered me slightly. I don't know on Yahoo Finance when it tells you about who's got how much shares and whatnot, and insider selling shares, how often they update it. I wonder if this article is before or after that. I could see why people would sell out of their position. That could be taken badly, the CEO selling shares. But what you got to remember as well is when a company IPOs and hits the market, the people inside, they hold in a lot of shares. When it comes out at whatever price, they want to get rid of some shares. Now, the fact the CEO still holds 30 million, if I held millions of shares, I'd probably want to get rid of some and still hold 30. So you could take that either way, but I'm not too fussed about that. Right, on the 15th of April 2021, the CFO resigned from his position effective immediately. It's never a good sign when an insider leaves the team, but it looks particularly bad when it happens after the CEO sells some shares. Well, I might have to backtrack on that statement. Yeah, that doesn't look good. Me personally, that's one of the things which will make me sell a stock, is one of the fundamentals changing, and that is a CEO or a CFO leaving. The company could go in a different direction without this CFO. So yeah, that don't look good, to be honest. Right, the negative news made investors resurface a short report released in November 2020. The downtrend on growth stocks and SPACs continued during yesterday's trading session. I'm kind of glad about that. One sign that the market is oversaturated and there's too much money in the market are SPACs. There's just too much money, and some of these SPACs are some pie in the sky ideas that people are losing a lot of money in. It's SPACs have become the casino, especially during lockdown. Too many to gamble on, and yeah, so I'm kind of glad that there's a downtrend in SPACs. It's a sign that things might be getting back to normal in the market. Another piece of bullish news I found: Tattoed Chef expands product line with launch of multi-serve meals. Multi-serve meals now available nationwide at Target. And I know in the UK even that Target are huge in America. So the fact you can now find their products in Target stores is a very, very big deal for Tattooed Chef going forward. So that's some very bullish news. I'm going to keep an eye on that and see what happens with that going forward. Right, as usual, what I like to do is also look at the stop and tick ranks and see what's going on. Ooh, analyst activity. The price target has actually been lowered. They've got it at $19 on the day of recording. This is over the bank holiday weekend or the Memorial weekend out in America. It's going for $21.28, and they've actually got it down as $19. It still hasn't really changed my opinion, to be honest. I will still definitely hold, and like I said, once it goes over 25, it's running away from me. But under that, I'm still willing to buy. They've given it a smart score of 6, which is neutral. A few of the stocks I hold actually got a 6, but it's neutral. You know, I'm not too fast. The size position I'm going to have in Tattooed Chef. It's not going to make me overweight. It's not going to make or break me. Well, it might make me, because I personally could see this stock hitting about $80, but we are talking long term. I look at other players in the same sector. I know Beyond Meat is a different product, and they've got a different target audience. Yes, it's vegan products they're making, but it is different. And you know, they're trading at a much higher price. I'm gonna find some alternatives, alternatives to Tattooed Chef and see what they're trading at. But I believe they can go a lot higher. I don't think it would take long to double your investment at these prices. I believe that could definitely happen. I reckon that will happen this year. But you know, I'm not a financial advisor, and not only am I not a financial advisor, I'm not your financial advisor. So always do your own due diligence and research. If you have a financial advisor, check with them, because you are responsible for everything you buy, not me. Before we get out of the way. Right, we can see that the hedge fund activity has decreased by 2.82 million shares last quarter. Again, not too worried about that. I know once the price starts picking up, you know, the big dogs start coming back in and buying up the shares. Right, under insider activity, we can see that 5.5 million worth of shares were sold in the last 3 months. Not worried about that. We saw the CEO sold 1.3 million worth of shares alone. The CFO left. I don't know how much shares they would have had before leaving. So I'm not too worried about that. Maybe I should be, but I'm not. You know, let me know in the comments if I should be worried about that. And the tip rank investors are very positive. And yeah, I'm one of them. Another good bit of bullish news I found online on the Just Food website. Tattooed Chef, a plant-based food business in California, has entered an agreement to buy 2 local firms trading as Foods of New Mexico for $35 million. I love to see new acquisitions being made, you know, takeovers. You definitely know your company's going forwards and profits will increase. So yeah, I'm very glad of that. Sam Galetti, the president and CEO of Tattooed Chef, which has a portfolio comprising frozen cauliflower pizza crust and smoothie bowls, said at full capacity, he expects Food of New Mexico, which will contribute as much as $200 million to its annual revenues in the next 2 to 3 years. For 2021, Tattooed Chef is already estimating its own revenue could hit 235 to 242 million, which would represent an increase over 2020 of around 58 to 63%. That is amazing. So yeah, a lot of good things to come from Tattooed Chef. Right, to wrap this up, Tattooed Chef, would I be buying more? Yes, I own about 40 shares at the minute. I do plan on having a full position of about 200, maybe 250, but maybe 200 shares. And I will just hold tight until they start paying a dividend. I probably will hold this stock for a minimum of 5 years, 8 maybe. But you know, of course, I've got to see how it performs. I feel they will start paying a dividend. Other companies within this space do, so I can't see why they'd be any different. I will be buying the dip up to about $25, And after that, I will wait on any pullbacks. Even though I've got, a serious conviction with this stock, I don't want to pay over the odds for it. But they are a very good company. They've been making money since 2019. And with the acquisitions they made, they're only going to make more, I believe. A lot of the world is jumping on the vegan bandwagon for whatever reason, whether it's health or just fad or whatever. But I'm glad to see it myself. We don't need as much animal consumption. But again, I'm doing it for myself. I'm no tree hugger. I still like leather sofas. So I see Tattoed Chef as a buy and hold, and just forget about, see what happens. But that's just me. Again, I'm no financial advisor, but I hope you found some use in that video. Please like. I really need help with the likes. I can see the views are slightly picking up, but I need people to be pressing the likes buttons to help with the YouTube algorithm. It's just not working in my favor. So please, if you found some use out of this video, please like it. And also join us, hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to pick up how much I post. Work's been getting in the way a lot, but I'm trying to fit more videos in my off days and whatnot. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again soon. Hasta la semana próxima. Adiós.